My name is Zaman Najmi. I am with Siemens for a long period now, like it's been more than 22 years. I have been responsible for different activities, starting from services department for telecom, and then in the sales for telecom again. And about 4 or 5 years back, our telecom part has been carved out, and that is a joint venture with Nokia Siemens network, as you know. So the carrier side, both the enterprise side also later on was carved out, and now our focus sectors where we are focusing as Siemens Pakistan are energy, industry, and healthcare. So these are the focus areas where our company is focusing. Very much associated with in telecom. In fact, the first industry, the telephone industries of Pakistan, was installed in collaboration with Siemens Germany. And still the telephone sets which you see normally of TIP are basically the model and make is of Siemens. So this has been a long strategic partnership, Siemens starting in Pakistan, and we have a factory here also producing things. So for telecom also we have been more than 50% of the lines which you have at your home, which we call landlines, were installed by Siemens, and later on there were different companies coming up, but initially the majority was from Siemens Pakistan. I personally feel that in this particular sector we are not very much far behind. There has been a boom as we compared from 2004 or 5, when things were not that good. For example, the tele density at that time was about 5-6%, which has been increased now to more than 60%. Similarly, you can see of mobiles count, like from 5 million we have crossed 100 million mark already, and also for the internet users and everything. So during the last 5-6 years there have been a major development in the field. But as you know that whenever there is a boom or there is like an expansion, very rapid expansion in any field, then it requires a very solid infrastructure to sustain that growth. So now is the time where we have to focus on on sustaining that growth. There are certain areas where we have to further develop ourselves. We can't say that we are at par. We are behind, but comparing to other technologies in telecom, we are at a very leveled pace, you can say. To maintain that level, we have to keep the infrastructure, keep on expanding it, like for the mobiles, or particularly I'll talk about the bandwidth, for example, that we are so much dependent now on data and telecom that bandwidth plays a very important role. So that is an area where I think much has to be done, both in regard to the availability and also about the cost factor. You know that the multinational companies, there has been I belong to a multinational company, so I'll talk about that we have to keep at pace with them, because anything which they introduce. So for Siemens Pakistan, we are lucky that whatever is globally introduced, we have to be a part of it. So any feature or anything which comes up, like live meetings, for example, or video conferencing or things like that, or SharePoints or common web-based, web focus and everything. So for that we have to align ourselves, and for every such application, I personally feel that the main focus for Pakistan for the growth is again in the bandwidth area, that there should be operators here available who can provide a very stable bandwidth at a very competitive price, because that area can give a big boom to this industry, because there are facilities available. You also start your office by just putting your notebook on, and if you leave your mobile at home, then you feel yourself half, for example. So these gadgets are now, we are all used to it. So these gadgets are playing an important role in the growth of the industry, of course. So the infrastructure needs to be sustained and growth with the same rapid pace. Well, it's a very common debate now, and we have to keep on repeating this, but everything sums up to the factor that we are an energy-starved country. We have a shortfall of more than, I can't remember exactly, but it's more than, I think, 6,000 megawatt or something. So for me the most important thing is energy at the moment, because the industry is badly affected. Because when we talk about industry, cement plants or sugar plants or steel mills or textile industry, for example, everything has been harmed because of non-availability of power resource in the country, and it's been a long time that we have been trying to catch up, but we have not been able to do so. So as far as my opinion is concerned, that the growth in all the three sectors It's not only that we have to bring new plants, for example, for energy, if I've understood your question correctly, we have to increase the efficiency of the existing ones, for example, and there are certain which are running at a very low efficiency. There are turbines available which are now working at a much higher efficiency than we have those 20-year-old. So we have to now be very careful that whatever we have at the moment, for example, if we have a gas power station which is running at an efficiency of 15%, with the same amount of gas we can have a plant which can run to more than 40% efficiency, for example. So these are the areas where we have to look, so that we not only go for new plants. Similarly, we have to tap this renewable energy also, because with Siemens, we say that we are a green company, and there has been a focus that we are focusing on wind and renewable energy. So in Pakistan also we are focusing on these segments. Education plays a very vital role. When we talk about growth of this sector, for example, in these rural areas, there have been projects where IT labs have been established in the country. We ourselves was part of the first project we did, and recently we have completed a project where in the small district schools the IT labs have been established. And that is the area, because you are well aware that we have a large percentage of our population which is less than 30 years of age. So I think more than 60% of the population is less than 30 years. So for us, we are very lucky as a country that we have so much youth available. Now with the education, and particularly with the IT education, so we have to provide them with the basic things, like there was a decision that the refurbished or the second-hand computers were allowed some years back. That was a good decision, because everybody was not able to afford those 50,000 or 75,000 rupees desktops, for example. Now you can buy a second-hand one much cheaper for that price. So in the schools, there should be, like you have physics or chemistry labs, you must have an IT lab. There is a lot of talent available in all the rural areas. A lot of the kids are willing to do it, and you have seen yourself even in the cities that kids are much faster than how we learn, for example, things. So we have to start from that area. I'll just share with you one initiative which our company has is hiring through social media, for example. There is a big initiative that we will be hiring people through these social medias like Facebook and Twitter, because you come to know about a person very quickly, and you can explore things like within days, like millions of people can know what you are doing and what you are looking for example. So I would say in the rural areas, in the schools, it should start from the schools. Education, like we are far behind in education, but where the education is available, we should have IT education as a mandatory thing, so that they have this IT talent coming up, like we have seen in some other countries as well.